Hey guys, welcome back to the layout once again. It's been quite a while since the last layout construction video, so I figured it's time to do one. Because once again I'm back at it, getting some work done finally. So as you can see down here on the lower level, I actually have some new sub-roadbed in. And the material that I'm using is actually drywall. So it's kind of a switch from the plywood, particle board, MDF combo that I've been using up until this point. But I had some leftover drywall from building the wall extension just behind me. So I decided might as well recycle it. And I wasn't sure how it would all work out, what it was going to be like using it. But honestly guys, this is some awesome stuff to work with. It's really easy. Actually all of the plywood or the sub-roadbed, drywall sub-roadbed that you see here, all the way along the peninsula, then also this small section on the upper level as well, all of that was cut without using a power tool. So it's just one of those materials where it's just soft enough that it's easy to work with a handsaw. So all I do, I just grab a sheet, I bring it down here, especially like this one you can see is kind of an odd shape. There's the seam there, and I just brought down one big square sheet, set it on top, and then underneath I marked with a pen. And then I took it back upstairs, cut it with a saw, brought it down here, and then installed it within just a few minutes. So it makes the process really quick, and for that reason I'm really loving it, and it's making this a lot of fun to work with or to work on. So anyway, you can see, as I pointed out, I've actually, sorry, I just ran into some tools. I started the installation of some sub-roadbed up here on the upper level. I need to continue it this way, but before I do that I need to build this span across the doorway here. So that's what I'm working on right now. I have the two long pieces, just need to cut a couple of cross braces. Then I'll put this piece, this whole section in between the existing benchwork, make sure it's level, screw it in, and then we will continue our drywall sub-roadbed, and I'll show you what it's like working with that in just a second. So let me finish up this bridge here, or the span, and then we'll be back and we'll start working on more sub-roadbed. Alright, so I just went ahead, finished that span of bench work, and then also installed a section of drywall here. You can see I left a little gap. That wasn't particularly for any reason, it's just that this 8-foot board maxed out here, so I'll just come in and splice in a little piece there and it'll be fine in the end. I also made this section of drywall really wide because I want it to fill the whole width of that span there. It'll just make it easier in the future when we do scenery, and we bring it up to the fascia and whatnot, so that'll just make it easier. And I was going to say we'll just continue the sub-roadbed that way, but I decided I'm going to go ahead, or actually I already have, brought in just a loose sheet of drywall here, and what I'm going to do is pin down some track. As you can see, I've already started that, just to kind of get a sense of how we want the track layout to be, because I don't know exactly what it's going to be. And once we do that, that'll kind of help us determine exactly what our curve radius down here will be. And that way, when we're working over on this side, we won't be doing as much guesswork because we'll already have this section of drywall cut. So I'm going to go ahead and work on that, try to see what track layout I like here. And then I'll go ahead and cut this, and then we'll kind of wrap up the rest of the upper level sub-roadbed. Alright, while I'm still working on the sub-roadbed down here, I'm going to take a break from that for a second just to explain what I'm working on down here as well. So if we turn around, what I'm doing here is actually adding kind of riser extensions off of this square frame. So below we had the luxury of height for the framework, so I think from the bottom of that frame that you see there, the L-girder frame, to the top of the track is over a foot. And we can't really do that here. So actually we're keeping the bench work up here under 5 inches, I believe, from the bottom to the railhead. And in order to do that, we need to kind of extend the frame out of the side here. So what I've done is behind this, I've put in kind of a 2x4 cleat. So that's screwed into the square frame you see here. And then what that allows me to do, or what that gives me, is a mounting surface for this 1x4 to come out from. And basically, in the end, we'll have the same effect that we do down here with these cross braces over the L-girder frame, except up above, that'll just be fragments of that in a sense. So I'm going to go ahead and screw in over here and make sure everything's level. And once I put 2 screws vertically. This thing should be pretty solid, and then we can lay our sub-roadbed over that. Of course, after I get a few more of those in. But I'm going to go ahead and work on that, and then we'll get back to the drywall. Alright guys, so I figured I'd take a quick break, just show you kind of what I've been working on. So I don't remember exactly when the last clip was, but you can see I have now all this sub-roadbed in through the curve, coming up grade here, and then up to the reverse track there. And then also, if we continue this way, you can see I have the curve in down here. And now we're all the way over here. So, a couple of teaching moments, mostly for me actually. I messed up while doing this. There's kind of a challenge when doing a mountain railroad, and that is you want to have a steep grade, so it's actually challenging for the trains to get up that grade. The models, that is. However, the steeper the grade is, the less distance the climb is, because you kind of have to cap the summit. You can't extend the length of the climb by just making the summit higher, because there's a limit to what humans can actually see, because at a certain point it just gets above eye level. So initially, in order to extend the length of the climb, I made this 180-degree curve here mostly level. It was under a 1% grade, whereas the rest of everything else, or the rest of the upper level climb, is around 2.5%. But when I did that, I didn't really consider that that would really affect the reverse track over here. And while I did that, or as a result of doing that, when the sub-roadbed came over here, it didn't clear the benchwork on the other side. So you can see, here's our reverse track here. The benchwork on the other side is significantly higher, and we didn't clear that. And I just didn't want there to be a really steep incline on this reverse track just to crest that the framework over there. So what I did is I came back in, moved all these risers up in succession, including the curve down there. So now the curve is about the same grade that everything else is at, and it worked out all right, because when you get to this point, you actually can't. I'll step over here. The grade kind of has to level off, because the reverse track incorporates the curve at the end there. If we were to continue climbing up grade from this point, by the time we got to the other side, the reverse track would have to come down double that distance, if you know what I mean. So once we reach this point, everything kind of levels off, which is significantly, or is a kind of a benefit for me, because then when we get over here, we can resume the climb, and now the climb doesn't actually reach the summit until somewhere over here on the other side of the peninsula, which I wasn't accounting for. Initially I thought we would reach summit somewhere here in the curve, but I hadn't really thought out the whole reverse loop thing. But now we have this cool mixture of gradients here. You can see the reverse track there is level, and off to the left our main line continues to climb up grade at a steep incline, and then right about where I have this piece of sub-roadbed cut off, I'm going to kind of make that summit and cap it off there. So I think we have a kind of a cool difference in right-of-way height here, and that'll look nice. Alright, so the second thing that I wanted to talk about involves this piece of sub-roadbed right here, and that is vertical curves. So when you're going from a flat section of railroad and then transitioning into a grade, probably the best way to do it is to make sure that the grade resumes in the middle of a piece of sub-roadbed, which is really convenient when you have long sections like this one. So you can see it's butted up against the curve right there. I have a screw right there, and then also in a support right there. So this section is flat. But then the grade essentially at this point resumes because I have a riser down here. But since this is all one piece of sub-roadbed and it's screwed in down there at two different locations, when I pull this end of the board up, it just kind of creates a nice vertical curve, and the board just kind of like pulls up. If I were to resume the grade at a joint, so like for example if I had resumed the grade right there, you would see a kink in the sub-roadbed, and you don't see that here. And it'll really look nice when you step down here, and then you kind of take a look down the curve, and you can see it start to just kind of sweep up. The same is going to have to be done here, because this is essentially the maximum height. This is summit. So what I'm going to do, or what I have done, is I've set the grade of this piece of sub-roadbed by putting one riser at the end and one riser at the beginning, but these are only temporarily in. I will screw this joint together here, and then I will set in two risers, one here and then one here. And when this one is in, I will take out that riser, which won't get screwed in yet, and then just kind of shift it down. And what that'll do is create a vertical curve between that riser and this riser. And if it looks too steep to me, if it's too sharp of a vertical curve, then I'll adjust it somehow. But that's the plan as of now, and just a consideration that I had. Alright, so as I was just talking about, I have now completed the top end of the vertical curve, if you will. So this is a section right here that on the far end, that I'm pointing to right there, it's actually level, but then it kind of pivots over this riser here and starts to head back down grade, and then it meets up flush with the next section of sub-roadbed there. And as you already saw, that section levels out at the bottom end, or the far end, towards the end of the peninsula. So anyway, with the completion of this section right here, that's going to wrap up this video. We didn't entirely finish the sub-roadbed in here back to the staging room, mostly because I ran out of sub-roadbed or drywall. So I'm going to go back to the store, get some more drywall. Seems like a logical place to stop this video. I've been working on some other things, so in the next construction video, hopefully we'll wrap this up. But either way, we'll at least see some action with cork roadbed. You can see I've been working on that here in Crawford. I just ordered a bunch more track, turnouts, auto reversers, and more cork. So with that order, which should be coming in the next few days, we'll be able to complete the full length of the main line, including both reverse loops, minus the section after the reverse loop here. So I'm probably not gonna put in the main line along here, unless I get this sub-roadbed in. But assuming I don't, we'll at least have both reverse loops running in the full main line, and then this will just be an easy tack-on thing once I get the staging bench work in. And in addition to all that, just this morning, I've been playing around with some lighting, as you see there on the other side of the layout. So definitely have a lot of things going on with the layout. It's coming together pretty quickly, actually, and honestly, I think we're going to meet our deadline of getting the full main line run in this summer. So a lot to look forward to. We're going to wrap up this video here, but don't worry, we'll have another construction video as well as plenty more updates very soon. So as always, guys, thank you for watching, and be sure to stay tuned for more videos.